Hi guys, today we're going to talk about the states of matter. The states of matter are solids, liquids, and gases. The standard we're going to be covering is the physical characteristics and changes of the states of matter, solid, liquids, and gas, and how they're explained using the particulate model. We will also be explaining how the arrangement and the motion of the particles determine which state it falls in. Distinguishing between the states will also be discussed and how temperature affects that. We'll start with solids. Now I will use water as an example for all of the states of matter because you will have to go and find your own states and different examples after that you watch this video. So characteristic of a solid is the molecules have a regular pattern. They stay in that pattern, which helps them hold their shape. So the shape of the solid will not change if you put it in a different container. So if you were to take a Lego and put it in a cup, the Lego holds its shape because it is a solid. It's in its solid state. So also, the molecules are actually moving even though they look like it's a solid, non-moving object. The molecules are actually moving very slowly. They could be considered vibrating or jiggling. So when water is in the solid state, it is ice. It is like an ice cube. Now if you imagine an ice cube, you can't squish it. It will hold its shape. You can break it, but it will still be a solid. Also, if you put the ice cube in a cup, it will still be an ice cube. It will not fill the bottom of the cup. Next is liquids. So liquid water is what we drink. If you pour water into your cup, it will fill up from the bottom of the cup and it will fill the whole container. There won't be any spaces under the water or next to the side of the cup. It will fill the entire thing. Now the molecules are a little farther apart, depicted as in this picture in the bottom right corner, and they actually slide together so they move and they can flow. Like when you're pouring water, it moves and it actually changes. So the molecules are moving faster than solids, but they still are close together, so they're still touching and sliding around. Next we can do gases. So water in a gas state can be considered steam. So when you're boiling water on the stove and you can see that steam like gas that's coming out of the pan, we can call that water vapor or steam. So gases, their characteristics actually, the particles are moving very, very quickly. So they're very, very spread out. They're moving around everywhere. They have very little attraction to each other, so they just bounce around off the walls in the room. For gas, we also like to point out that they will expand to fill the container. So gas can go all over the container. If you put gas in, say, an empty water bottle, the gas will fill the entire thing. It will bounce off the top, the bottom, the sides. It will fill the whole container, not just the bottom, and it won't stay in one shape like the other two states of matter. Now, this is very important. Matter can change states. And there are a couple ways to do this, but the biggest one we'll talk about is losing or gaining heat. And that means something is either getting hotter or colder. So I know there's a lot on this slide, but I just want you to take notes and write this down and become aware of it. We will go through each one by one. So these are the title of what it's called when something changes state of different states to a different state. So we can start with evaporation, and that's from a liquid to a gas. So if you were to leave a cup of water out overnight, the water is going to be gone or lower in your cup in the morning, and that's because the water had evaporated. So the water in the cup the molecules are slowly gaining heat. They're getting a little warmer, so they're getting a little more energy. So they come up out of the cup and they become gas, and then they're floating around in the air. Condensation is when gas turns to a liquid. So if it's a really hot summer day and you take a cold water bottle outside, the outside of the water bottle will be getting cold, and that's because we'll be getting wet, not cold. We'll be getting wet because the molecules that are in the air, the gas molecules that are close to the water bottle, are getting cooled down by your cold water bottle. Therefore, they're losing heat and they come into a solid liquid state on your water bottle. Now, melting is any solid that turns to a liquid, such as if you were to take an ice cube outside and put it on the ground, it will start to melt. It is starting to gain heat, it's starting to get warmer, so the solid particles will start moving a little bit faster, and because they're gaining heat, and they turn into liquid. Freezing. So if you take water and you put it in the freezer, it will change from liquid to solid. This is a loss of heat. So because it was warmer than the freezer temperature, it starts to become a solid. The molecules slow down and they don't move as fast and they become solid. Sublimation is a very quick process. It's from solid to gas. It's from a loss of heat, but it's very, very quick. So it's an instant and it skips a step. It doesn't go from solid to liquid to gas. It goes straight from solid to gas. And the same is with deposition. Deposition is a gain of heat which goes from gas to solid very, very quickly. Now this is just a picture that shows you how they work, and it gives you a little bit of organization of your thoughts on how. So you can see the snowman is going to melt and he becomes water, or the water freezes and becomes snow and then you can make a snowman. Or if the snowman instantly becomes gas, that's called sublimation. Also, if the gas instantly becomes a snowman, it's called deposition. Check that out, and then I have a little assignment for you. What I want you to bring to class is I want you to find some examples of each state of matter and each change of state. It's going to be a little difficult. You're going to have to use the internet. And I also want you to bring your notes from this video to class. I'll see you tomorrow.